If your hands stop, your income stops. Let's just say it out loud. You can have the cutest nail art on Instagram, the best booking system, tech meets touch all day long. But if your wrists are screaming by Wednesday, your business is quietly leaking money. Here's the thing. Last month, I talked to a tech who had to block out 12 hours of bookable time because of wrist pain. 12 billable hours gone. Imagine your calendar with 3 full days of clients just erased. That's not just discomfort. That's lost revenue, lost tips, and honestly, extra stress.
Hearing that makes my stomach drop. As a client, when my favorite tech suddenly isn't available for a week, I notice. I start thinking, okay, is she okay? Should I book somewhere else? Is her schedule always this tight? It doesn't just hit the wallet. It shakes client confidence too.
Exactly. So today, we're turning hand pain into data. We're going to protect your hands and protect your income with small, testable changes. Not a full life overhaul, not some dreamy spa day you'll never schedule. Real, business-first tweaks you can try this week and measure. Let's dive in. I want to start with that micro case because it hits both the heart and the ledger. This tech I mentioned, she's a solo artist, fully booked, charging about $60 a set on average. Over 1 month, she canceled, rescheduled, or shortened 12 hours of work because her wrist just would not cooperate. Now, her average service is roughly an hour, so that's 12 services she did not complete. 12 times $60, $720 in top-line revenue off the table. And that doesn't even count tips, potential rebookings, or new clients she couldn't take because she was in recovery mode instead of income mode.
And from where I sit as a client, that month feels different too. My favorite tech is suddenly texting me things like, hey, can we move you 2 weeks out? My hands are really acting up. I feel bad for her, but I'm also scrolling for backup options. That felt wonderful when I found her, and now I'm nervous I can't count on her schedule.
Right. Hand pain isn't just, ouch, my wrist hurts. It's, ouch, my business capacity and client trust just took a hit. So let's nail it every time by doing what business owners do best, turning a problem into a formula, and a formula into a test. Segment 1, convert pain to dollars. I want you to literally put a number on how much your hands are costing you per service, not to scare you, but to help you price in smarter care. Here's a simple formula. Hand cost per service equals recovery minutes times your hourly rate divided by services per hour. I'll say it again, slower. Hand cost per service equals recovery minutes times your hourly rate divided by services per hour. Let's put numbers on it. Imagine after each gel set, you need about 10 minutes to stretch, shake out your hands, maybe ice your wrist a bit later at home. That's 10 recovery minutes for each 1-hour service. Your hourly rate, this is what your time is worth, not what you charge, is say $40 an hour. And you do about 1 service per hour. So 10 minutes of recovery is 1/6 of an hour. 1/6 times $40 is about $6.67. Because you're doing 1 service an hour, your hand cost per service is still about $6.67. Round it, $7.
When you say it like that, $7 to literally keep your hands working so my nails look good, that feels totally fair. As a client, I'd rather you bake that into your system than burn out and disappear.
Exactly. So here's your action from this segment. Tonight, or between clients, grab your Notes app. 1. Estimate how many recovery minutes you honestly need after your most intense service. Not the fantasy number, the real one. 2. Multiply that by your true hourly rate. Take your average service price, divide by how long it takes you. That's your hourly. 3. Divide by how many services you can realistically do per hour. That number, that's your starting test add-on. You don't have to slap it on your menu tomorrow, but you can think, okay, my hand care cost is about $5 a set, or $8, or whatever your math says. Now you're making a business decision, not just hoping your body keeps up. Segment 2, your scheduling starter kit. Pricing is one lever. Time is the other. You don't need a dreamy European spa schedule to protect your hands. You need one simple rule to start. 1 15-minute buffer every 3 services, plus a 2-minute micro break between each client. So picture your day. Client 1, Client 2, Client 3, then a locked-in 15-minute buffer. That buffer is for you. Hands, hydration, bathroom, a snack, quick cleanup. Not for squeezing in one more rushed design.
And from the client side, that actually feels more professional. If my tech is constantly running 10 minutes behind because there was zero buffer, I notice. I love this idea of a planned breather so you're not apologizing every appointment.
Then we layer in the micro breaks. 2 minutes between each client. Not 10, not a scroll fest, 2 intentional minutes. You stand up, shake out your hands, roll your shoulders, maybe do a quick wrist stretch you've learned from your therapist or YouTube. Sip water. That's it. 2 minutes to reset your body before you pick up the file again. Now, usually the fear kicks in here. You might be thinking, buffers and breaks sound nice, but am I cutting my income? Will my owner or my manager freak out if my calendar shows less back-to-back density? So we're going to treat this as a 7-day experiment, not a forever policy. For the next week, you test one 15-minute buffer every 3 services, plus 2-minute micro breaks. That's it. You don't redesign the whole book. You protect a few small pockets of recovery and see what changes.
And if I'm your client and you tell me that, I'm not mad. Real talk, I'm impressed. My favorite experience is when a tech says, I'm adjusting my schedule a bit so I can keep the same quality for you long term. That's a green flag, not a red one.
Let me give you a script you can literally read to clients or to your boss. Say this: I'm adding a small 15-minute care buffer every few appointments to keep service quality high. This week, I'm testing it and keeping current prices. I just want to make sure I'm not rushing your nails or hurting my hands. Would you prefer the earlier slot or the later one? If you're talking to an owner or manager, tweak it. I'm running a 7-day test of one 15-minute buffer every 3 services, plus 2-minute micro breaks. My goal is to reduce hand strain and keep my output consistent. At the end of the week, I'll compare my revenue per usable hour and rebook rate to show you if it helps or hurts.
Hearing it framed with data like that, as an owner or client, it sounds smart, not lazy. It sounds like you're thinking long term.
Segment 3, high return micro investments. Because sometimes the fastest fix is not your schedule, it's your gear. I want to give you 3 prioritized swaps that usually give big relief for a relatively small cost: your stool, your lamp, and your wrist support. First, the stool. If you're sitting on something that wobbles, sinks, or forces you to hunch, your hands are paying the price. An ergonomic stool with adjustable height and good lumbar support lets you line up your shoulders, elbows, and wrists so you're not reaching or twisting all day. When your body is stacked properly, your hand movements get smaller and more efficient. That means you can work the same number of hours with less strain, or even shave a few minutes off each service because you're not constantly repositioning.
As a client, I can tell when a tech is fighting their setup. They're shifting, stretching across the table, asking me to move my hand 100 times. When they're comfortable, the whole service feels smoother.
Second, your lamp. A good angled lamp that you can bring close without blinding you or the client is huge. When you can see clearly without leaning forward, you stop doing that turtleneck lean that crushes your upper back and sends tension down into your wrists. Think of it as tech meets touch again, a one-time lamp upgrade that pays you back every single set by cutting microstrain. You might find you redo fewer lines, make fewer corrections, and that adds up to minutes saved and soreness reduced. Third, wrist support. This can be as simple as a well-shaped client hand rest plus a soft pad where your own wrist rests. You want your wrist in a neutral position, not bent up or down for an hour straight. Neutral wrist equals less compression on those tiny structures that are yelling at you at night.
From my side of the table, a proper hand rest actually feels more luxurious too. My hand isn't dangling in midair, and I'm not constantly trying to guess where you want me to place it.
And here's the quick ROI logic on all 3. Let's say you spend in total maybe $100 to $200 upgrading stool, lamp, and wrist support over time. If that setup helps you avoid even 4 lost hours a month, and your billable rate is, say, $50 an hour, that's $200 a month saved in capacity. The gear literally pays for itself in a few weeks. Don't stress about finding the perfect product on day one. Start by tightening what you have. Adjust heights, angles, and positions. Then, as money comes in, prioritize the stool, then the lamp, then the wrist support. One upgrade at a time is still progress. Segment 4, Measure and Test. I want you to treat the next 7 days like a mini experiment in your business. You're going to track 3 simple KPIs to see if this hand care focus is working: your pain score, your revenue per usable hour, and your rebook rate. First, pain score. Every night, rate your hand or wrist pain from 0 to 10. 0 is no pain. 10 is I can't grip my phone. Be honest, not dramatic. Write the number down or drop it in a note on your phone. Second, revenue per usable hour. For the week, track your total revenue and divide it by the number of hours you were actually able to work without feeling like your hands were done. Not the hours you wished you could work, your real usable hours.
I like that wording, usable hours. Because if you're on the couch with ice packs, that's not a usable hour for me as your client either. I can't book it.
Third, rebook rate. Out of the clients you see this week, how many pre-book their next appointment before they leave or within 24 hours? Just jot a quick tally in your booking system or a notebook. Here's your 7-day plan. Day 1, calculate your hand cost per service with that formula. Day 2, set up your calendar with one 15-minute buffer every 3 services and commit to those 2-minute micro breaks. Days 3 through 7, pay attention to how your body and your business respond. Track your pain score, your usable hours, your revenue, and your rebook rate. At the end of the week, look at the numbers. If your pain score dropped even 1 or 2 points and your revenue per usable hour stayed the same or went up, you've got proof that these small changes are worth keeping. If rebook rate holds or improves, your clients are clearly fine with it too.
And if something feels off, you adjust. As a client, I'm not expecting perfection. I just want you healthy enough to keep giving great service. Here's what I think. The moment your clients see you investing in your well-being, they see you as a pro, not just a pair of hands.
All right, let's wrap this up with a quick recap and a script you can literally read to your next client. We talked about converting pain to dollars with that simple formula. Hand cost per service equals recovery minutes times your hourly rate, divided by services per hour. We set a scheduling starter rule: one 15-minute buffer every 3 services and a 2-minute micro break between each client. And we walk through 3 micro investments: stool, lamp, wrist support that can pay you back in capacity and comfort. Here's a read-aloud client script you can try at your very next appointment. I've been making a few small changes to protect my hands so I can keep doing my best work for you long term. You might notice a tiny buffer in my schedule or a quick stretch break between clients. It doesn't affect your service time or price this week, but it helps me keep your nails looking great without hurting myself. If you ever prefer an earlier or later slot, just tell me. I'll make it work. Protect your hands. Protect your income. You are the engine of this business. Without you, the systems, the marketing, the beautiful designs, none of it runs. So give yourself permission to run a 7-day experiment. Try one schedule change, one gear tweak, or finally price in that hand care cost you just calculated. If this episode sparked ideas for your spa or solo business, subscribe to Forever Sound Waves so you don't miss the next daily systems upgrade. We're here for the beauty, the business, and beyond, so you can nail it every time without burning out your body. Let's dive in and make your business shine. Stay curious, stay creative. Until next time, keep your nails and your business thriving.